Okay. Do we have mics today? We do. That makes a fucking change. Right, good morning world. It's Monday. I was supposed to be doing a job today down in West Hampstead, changing a Fuseboard, but the customer never got back to me, so I'm assuming he's either doing it himself or he's found someone cheaper to do it. But it would have been nice to have had a response. I'm now heading to, where am I going? I'm going to Belsize Park first. I've got to pin some notices up in a communal hallway where I'm fitting a fire alarm system. So I've got to pin these little notices up, which I'll show you in a second. Anyway, let me get down to Belsize Park. I'll see you in a mo. Right, that's the fan I've got to fit now. This is the problem. You, phone in pocket, hang on. You walk in just to drop in a set of keys or say, and you walk out with more. So I've got to go and do those. I've got an extractor fan that's got a life of its own, and I've got, yeah, okay, right. Okay, sorted. Right, next job is road. I've got to go and stick a notice up in the hallway, and while I'm there, I've got another job. An extractor fan has a life of its own, apparently. Now, I don't have a permit, so just gonna have to hope I don't get a ticket. Right, so this is where I've got to put this fire alarm system in. Looks about right. Excellent. So what I'll do is I'll just fit I actually decided to use cable clips. I thought that was a good calling card at an electrician's bin. But this is it. I'll just put a letter up like this, just to let everybody know, what I'm planning on doing and stuff. And then I'm going to get into each of the flats and stuff. But I'll just put this out just to let everybody know that there's going to be some noise and disruption, moving forwards. Like, shut up. Right, next fire alarm system. This is another quote which is a quote which came through, which I didn't think I'd get, but I ended up getting it. So I'm now going to go and put another one of these letters in this building. So yeah, done. Right, that's that one done. Yeah, so today I'm basically spending the whole day going around doing little bits like this, just trying to play catch up, because these bits are very easy to let slide. Right, so I've split from Tom this afternoon because he's got to finish that job, which you couldn't actually see that job because we can't record there, but he's just changing a load of lights and dimmer switches in a house, 120 down lights and about 25 dimmer switches, so he's changing those. I've just come down to Old Street Station just to do a quote here for a little flat rewire. I'll show you now, actually. Give me 2 minutes, let me sort myself out here and I'll show you. Okay, so the job which we're quoting for is in this tower block just here. I don't think I can get any footage inside. I'll see what I can do. I might be able to, but it's a rewire of a flat in here. But it's this one just up here. That's the block there. I've just got to try and work out how to get into it. Let's see if anyone answers. Hello, it's Tom here, the electrician.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me go in, let me price it, I'll be back in a minute. Not a bad old view from this apartment, is it? So yeah, I don't know, I think maybe a job like that, I don't know, 5.5, somewhere around there. But my gut actually tells me that I won't get it. You just get a gut feeling when you do quotes, and my gut's just telling me that it just won't come through. I don't know why, just a gut feeling. Electricians will know what I mean when you talk about gut feelings and stuff, because you just do, when you're doing quotes, you just get a gut feeling. And doing things like rewires in these blocks are really difficult. If I go over the side of the street, other side of the street, I'll show you. That's the block just there, that one there. And it's on the 16th, 20th floor, whatever, I can't remember now. But it's not that straightforward to rewire it, because you spend so much time just dragging materials up and down and stuff all the way up there, and then you've got to come into the city, spend half an hour trying to find parking, loading up, unloading your tools at the end of it's not just rewiring, it's all the other stuff which people don't consider that goes with it. Just to get this parking space, and it's only a 2-hour bay, you've got to move your van, or you just get £100 parking. Maybe you just do that, you just get a parking ticket every day. But I'll quote for it, but I think Yeah, 5,000 to 6,000 I think's pretty competitive. I mean, I did a quote the other day, 2-bedroom flat. 2-bedroom flat I quoted 4,800. I really thought that was, a good price considering you're using, I agreed to use all MK there, all Prismian cable, you know, and he's still getting alternative prices, you know, and you give a 6-year guarantee. What I don't understand, what more can you give? I don't get it. Right, I'm going to go and get a cup of coffee, and then I'm going to head back to, I think I've got a hob I've got to go and fit in a flat over in West Hampstead. Right, no point fucking staring at it. Let's get a wiggle on. First things first, let's test these rings and see if we've actually got rings. Excellent, Smithers. Are we going to have a long day or a short day? Good, 0.17, 0.60, 0.59. Okay, cool. I'll pair those before I forget which is which. Just go. Okay, kitchen, house. Okay. Ah, the old twisted earths. Ah, fuck. I want to go back in time and find the electrician that did that and fucking shoot him. Fuck, it's irritating. 1.29, I'd say that's about right. Oh, I hate this bit. Oh, right, board is on. We're doing an MK RCBO board. Somebody was saying, why do you always fit dual RCD? It's not that I always fit it. I mean, I obviously appreciate that you see it in a lot of the content, but it's trying to get customers to fit. If I could fit RCBOs all the time, I would, without a shadow of doubt, because they are better. They give you more protection. They're just generally a better board. But the problem is the price, and not every customer is prepared to pay for the price. Bottom line is you can't force them. So most of the time when you offer a dual RCD and an RCBO and they see the difference, more often than not they go for the dual RCD. But this one here, I mean, I managed to sell an RCBO, which is good, because I do think they're better. They do offer better protection. That's the other thing. When you fit like more like budget conscientious brands, you know, like Lap, they're an example. In fact, Lap, they used to do Lap fuse boards. I noticed they don't do them anymore. And but the problem is when you buy the sort of the budget fuse boards, invariably what happens is, just like with Lap, they stopped making them. And of course, when you need to put another fuse in a box that you fitted, you can't do it anymore because you're not supposed to mix brands. That's the thing with RCBOs, these Weir screwdrivers don't fit into the neutral terminal. So I shall use my modified one where I've just ended up cutting down the insulation to fit it in. That's not recommended practice, but it does work. I usually find with like 10mm and 16mm and stuff, tighten it up, give it a wiggle, tighten it up again, give it a little wiggle. I mean, actually, I've got to take them out again just to do my final testing, but right, there's one. I'm due for a new test meter as well. I need to start looking into which one I'm going to buy. Leave recommendations below, you fellas or women. Might be female sparks out there. I put a load of quotes out recently. Haven't got any of them. I think people are sitting because of this Brexit. I think that would be my hunch. Because I've put loads of stuff out, you know, different quotes out and stuff. I haven't got any of them. Or it could just, I don't know, maybe people are getting cheaper prices, I don't know. I did a quote for a house rewire, 6 grand, a 2-bedroom flat, 6 grand. I didn't think it was expensive, didn't get that. Another job just round the corner, 2-bedroom flat, but that was pretty straightforward one. I quoted four grand for that, didn't get that one. No, I quoted 4.5. And someone came in at 3.5. Somebody else undercut, they came in at 3.5. That's it. I had a quote I put out the other day. It was a thatched cottage, unusual up this neck of the woods, unusual thatched cottage. And it was awkward. Everything's all cob. Yeah, it's cob walls. I mean, there's no, you know, it's not like just nice clean cuts up the wall and stuff. There's none of that. I quoted 14,000 to do it, which was not, for the size of the place and the complexity of it, They emailed me back saying we've had an alternative quote who's come in substantially cheaper. So they never actually said the price, but substantially cheaper. So if I quoted 13 and somebody came in cheaper, okay, 10 maybe, but substantially cheaper, that would be, you know, I'm thinking more sort of 7, you know, sort of 7 grand-ish. That would be my, you know, substantial is a strong word. So I was like, do you know what? Knock yourself out. If you want to do it for that figure, be my guest. This issue of surge protection is doing the rounds on Twitter, I noticed. Although, I mean, I kind of understand it, because it's a bit of a faff, to be honest. A Type 1 and 2 combined surge protector, 290 quid. I had to get that from Rexel. And there are some brands that don't even do, if you buy, like, you know, some of the more budget brands, there are some of them that don't even do surge protectors for their boards. Yeah, I've got a feeling it will be a reg that's just going to be quietly ignored by the masses, just because the cost of them is just prohibitive. Here, it actually didn't need it. There was no need for it here. I did the calcs on it, didn't need it. But I always find it's good just before you power up, just go through every single head on the board and just make sure you've tightened them all up, because it is easy to forget. I've done it many a time in the past. And as silly as it sounds, I find you can sleep a bit easier at night once you've done this one step. I'm running out of room for me stickers. This argument of whether you should display your NIC number or your NAPIT number or whatever, still rumbling on. I think it's just a bullshit argument, to be honest. I don't see what the problem is. I think some people they're going on about, because I put mine there, I think some people are going on about that basically somebody can steal that number, it's written there, somebody can steal it, they can put it on their own certificates, that sort of stuff. Well, let's assume that for the sake of going along with this argument that somebody took that number there, so mine is 601637, okay? Let's say someone took that number and then went and rewired a house, and I don't know, then a week later it burnt to the ground or something. Let's just say they would then ring, they'd think, okay, I've got the certificate, I'll ring the NIC. The NIC would say, okay, who's the contractor, what's their number? The customer would give them the number, which would actually be my number. They would then contact me and say, basically, what the fuck were you playing at? And I'll say, I don't know what you're on about, I've never heard of that job. And I'll say, well, there's a certificate here with your name on it. And then, you know, I'll turn around and say, well, I've never been there in my life, I don't know what you're on about. And, you know, you can back that up with all sorts of things, other than the fact that I do daily camera work. Your customers can verify where you were every single day. You know, there'd be lots of things which it would just fall through. It wouldn't stand up to anything, you know. Because, you know, your customers can verify where you were. You know, if somebody had to tell me where was I last week, there's a customer who could verify I was there, you know. So every day I've got a customer who can verify that I was somewhere. You know, how did they pay? Well, if it was in cash, highly unlikely. If you go through all of my bank statements, everything almost invariably is done by chip and pin, that, you know, that card machine I've got, or it's done by bank transfer. So, you know, the whole thing is it's a flawed argument, you know. There's absolutely no grounds to it. And also the certificate, you know, that I've issued a paper certificate. Well, normal certificates I issue are digital, and I use one platform for doing it. So, you know, the whole thing, it's a nonsense argument, you know. And a lot of national companies, actually, there's a couple in London, big companies, all on their headed paper and stuff. At the very bottom, you see their membership number. I think the only reason you'd hide it is if you've got something to hide, you know. That's the only. But anyway, that's her. She's about done. So I'll just put my Fuseboard schedule up there. That's what everything is. Stickers, water and gas. I like to include the water and gas bonds. I think that's, I mean, here it's just down here below the boiler, but I like to add it. I just think it makes a nice, you know, I think it just helps the next person who comes in. Would have helped if I put it on straight though, but never mind. Installation date, my details. And that's basically about it. This argument with blanks is still rumbling on. My understanding, because some people are saying about using metal blanks and plastic blanks, and can you still use plastic blanks? Well, these are provided with the Fuseboard, so that would tell me that yes, you can. But my further sort of reading into this is that you can use plastic blanks on the proviso that if the rail underneath these on these RCBOs, the rail that's underneath here, so the rail which comes to these 2 points here, if you've got little red caps to put on them, theoretically, from what I gather, you're allowed to use plastic blanks, because if the blank falls out and somebody was stupid enough, not that you would, but if somebody was stupid enough to put their finger in, they wouldn't touch the rail inside. That's my sort of understanding of it. I don't actually know if there's any truth in that whole putting caps on the rail thing. I don't know. I do it anyway because they come with the board, so it makes sense to do it, but that was my understanding of what I know. But the plastic blanks come with the board, so there's no reason why you can't use them. God, I'm fucked. I've got a job down in Fulham to go and do, and then once I've done that, I had a job over in Golders Green, but I have not got the energy to do that today. That one is going to have to wait until tomorrow or something, I think. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next week.